The Quran doesn't confirm a dying, rising man god. It doesn't confirm that at all anywhere in the Quran. It doesn't confirm that a circumcised Middle Eastern man will die on a stick.
What it does is it confirms scriptures that say that Jesus died on the crucifixion. So the Quran says, hey, that book over there that the Christians are reading, that book that says Jesus died on the cross for sins and so on, that book is as good as gold. And Christians aren't supposed to judge by the Quran. Christians are supposed to judge by the gospel, the one that they have, the one that says Jesus died on the cross. So you're pointing out, you just pointed out, according to the Quran, this thing didn't happen. That's your view. And yet the Quran points us towards scriptures that affirm that Jesus did die on the cross. That's the problem. Now you understand the Islamic dilemma. We're told, Christians are told to judge by the gospel. It's Surah 5, verse 47 of the Quran. Let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah revealed therein. Okay, so we're commanded to judge by our book. We go to our book. Our book says Jesus died on the cross. Jesus died by crucifixion. We go to the Quran, and according to you, the Quran disagrees with that and says that never happened. Okay, we're commanded to judge by what? We're commanded to judge by the gospel. And therefore, if the Quran denies the crucifixion and we judge by the gospel, we have to say the Quran is gone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Quran. It is no good. And so our alternatives are we either judge by our gospel or we don't. If we judge by our gospel, if we judge by our gospel, we have to conclude that Islam is wrong. And if we don't judge by our gospel, we're in rebellion against Allah, according to the Quran. So either way, you've got a problem there. And you said, oh, we don't have it. That's the problem. Allah says we have it. Avery just put up a hadith on the screen where Muhammad says we have the Torah and the gospel. Your God says we have the Torah and the gospel. You're saying, oh, this assumes you have the Torah and the gospel. Yeah, that's right. That's what your God says. If you're saying your God is wrong, congratulations, you're not a Muslim anymore.
Yeah, so first off, how I'd like to tackle that is when it talks about the gospel, are you talking about a multiplicity of gospels? Or because we know that there's traditionally
it's the gospel that we have. What is it? If you're saying it's not, and I'll just clarify here. From the 2nd century, so in the 1st century, you have gospel according to Matthew, gospel according to Mark, and so on. From the 2nd century on, those were treated as a unit called the fourfold gospel. It's singular, the fourfold gospel. So if you were to go to Christians in the 7th century and say the gospel, that would either mean the fourfold gospel, the four gospels treated as a unit, or it would mean the entire New Testament, if you're just talking about the book that the Christians have. And so it's a simple point, really. If you're telling us that Allah doesn't mean either the entire New Testament or he doesn't mean the four gospels that we actually have, and he means something else, then that leads to the question, what? What's the Injil? What's the Injil? What's the Injil? What's the Injil?
What's the Injil? So yeah, my response would be to that would be asking a clarifying question. How many gospels were there at that time? There are numerous amount of gospels other than Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. There were the Gospel of Peter.
Very simple. Pick one. Tell us what Allah means. What is the Injil chant?
What we say is that
if you're saying he means something, we're asking you. You're a Muslim. Your God commands us to judge by something. He says we're in rebellion against him unless we judge by the gospel. Well, we've got a book that we call that from the 2nd century on has been called the gospel, the Injil. It's the fourfold gospel. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John treated as a unit. If you are saying, oh, maybe it means something else, which one does it mean? That's not for us to say. That is up for you to say. You have to tell us. If you're saying it doesn't mean what you have, this would be like me coming to you saying, hey, judge by the Quran. And you say, okay, I'll judge by the Quran. I say, no, I mean something else. Okay, what do I mean then? I would have to tell you what I mean if I mean something other than what you know is the Quran. Likewise, if Allah and Muhammad are saying Jews and Christians have the Torah and the gospel, they have to judge by the Torah and the gospel, they're reading the Torah and the gospel, and you're saying, oh, what if it means something else? It's a very simple question. What in the name of common sense is Allah talking about? And here again, it doesn't matter where you go. There is nothing anywhere that agrees with Islam. So even if you want to throw it Matthew, Mark, Luke, John and say, oh, what about this? What about that? None of it lines up with Islam. There's no way out of this.
What is it, Ibrahim? What's the Injil, bro?
Yeah, so I would say it would be oral tradition. It would be oral, something that
the Quran says that it was written though too. Did you know that?
Yeah, could you point out to me where you get it from and the tafsir for that?
No, it's
not the tafsir, the Quran.
That's Allah.
Yeah, I would like to see the verse in the Quran that you're pointing at that says this, and I would like to see the tafsir if you can pull that up as well.
Here it is. It's chapter 7, verse 157. Those who follow the unlettered prophet, whom they find written, well, it's with them, of the Torah and the gospel. So they have the Torah and the gospel, and it's written.
Can you pull up the tafsir for that?
What do you need the tafsir for? The Torah and the Gospel, according to the Quran, it says that it was written, right?
It says we find Muhammad in them too.
The whole point was that you were saying that this was oral tradition. Avery just proved to you that this is written. The Quran
Wouldn't you agree that the gospel started out as oral tradition?
Sure, no problem. And there's also a written tradition of the gospel.
Just like the Quran started off as oral and then was written in a book.
Everything starts out as oral and then gets written. That's how things start out.
It was orally written down. I mean, it was orally spoken, and then when it was written down, it was tampered with the meaning.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, so the Quran was tampered. The Quran was tampered with when it was written down.
That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. You said that what I have is not it. So we're asking you, what is it then?
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
Boom. Nice. You don't know if it was Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John or not. So from this day forward, you can't tell me or David or John DOC or any other Christian that we don't have the Injil, because for all you know, we might have it.
Well, there's something called the Q's gospel, Sayings gospel.
Oh, what? Tell me, what
was that written?
Wait, guys. Q gospel. Okay, can you tell us what Q gospel is, really quick?
Yeah, scholars they according to their analysis, they constructed that I think Matthew and Mark take from a source.
Matthew and Luke.
Yeah, Matthew and Luke. Apologies, Matthew and Luke.
So they did write it. So Matthew and Luke did write it.
Well, it's not necessarily written. It was not necessarily written.
Well, it is, because they're saying that they're getting their source, and so basically, what Q is what Matthew and Luke have that Mark doesn't, right?
Yeah, essentially, it's saying gospel,
right? And so you're saying that that's what the Injil is, that they were reading, that was written down, and that they were finding Muhammad in?
It's a strong possibility. I can't confirm 100%.
Now, this is my thing, because this is what we find in Q. Okay, it's what Matthew and Luke have together that Mark doesn't. According to Q, this is what we find: Matthew 11, verse 27. This is supposed to be Q, right? So this is what it says here, Ibrahim. It says, this is Jesus speaking: "All things have been handed over to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son chooses to reveal him." So within Q, you have Jesus claiming to be the Son of God, God being his Father, who owns everything that the Father owns. Everything that belongs to the Father belongs to the Son as well. Creation,
including Muhammad,
you, me. All of that belongs to Jesus the Son, and no one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son. So the Son is claiming to have the same type of knowledge that God has, being omniscient and knowing God fully, and no one knows him. It takes an omniscient mind to know him, which is why only the Father knows him as well. So in the same verse, Jesus claims to be the Son of God, who owns everything that God owns. Everything that belongs to God, Jesus has, and he's omniscient.
Jesus is claiming to be the Son of the Father. That would contradict Islam. In other words, if all we granted was what you said, maybe it's Q, the Islamic dilemma still stands. The Quran is affirming, the Quran is confirming something where Jesus is the Son of the Father and everything belongs to the Son, and he's omniscient along with the Father. That would be enough for us to say, okay, the Quran is confirming this, but this contradicts the Quran, therefore the Quran self-destructs. So even if we went with just what you said, the Islamic dilemma still stands.
Was Jesus wrong when he said that he's the Son of God?
He isn't wrong, but it's something that before Islam, the religion of Islam came.
Giant DLC, can you get me the verse, chapter 19, verse 88 and 89, please?
So has it been abrogated that all things have been handed to Jesus from the Father?
So yeah, what does that mean though? What is that supposed to mean?
It means what it means. It means everything belongs.
So you're positing Jesus is God in this verse, correct? That's what you're positing.
No.
I'm asking. I'm not positing anything. I'm asking, is it abrogated where Jesus here says all things have been given to the Son from the Father?
Yeah. So what do you mean by all things?
Dude, I'm asking a simple question.
Ibrahim, if you keep playing dumb, bro, you keep playing games like this, I'm gonna move on to the next person, bro.
I'm just trying to understand what you mean by all things. If you're trying to
understand, don't play stupid. Like I'm losing my patience. All things means all things, right?
Okay, so without the context of what this means, then you're saying,
all things mean some things, or does all things mean all things?
Well, of course there isn't any context to what it is. So we don't know what Jesus means.
I
don't know your interpretation.
Oh, how
all things correct.
How do you know your interpretation?
Thanks for the clip. Let me finish writing down my quote here. Jesus was not wrong when he said he's the Son of God.